Hey, welcome back to CrossTalk podcast. I'm Tomoya.
Hi, I'm Andrea.
So, Andrea-san, we finally experienced our first kabuki performance a few days ago.
Yes, we did. So we were very lucky. One of my very lovely acquaintances gifted us with 2 very good seats at a kabuki performance.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know what impressed you the most about the performance.
Oh, of course, the performance was really good and interesting. I thought kabuki wasn't for me.
Yeah, I didn't think you would enjoy it. I expected you to complain, actually.
I thought, okay, maybe take a nap for a short time at the theater.
Because when I asked you if you wanted to go, you were like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, but I don't really have another friend to ask. So if you don't want to go, I'll just go by myself. I didn't think you would enjoy it. And you didn't have a very excited reaction.
Right. At first.
Yeah.
And then after watching this kabuki performance, it changed my mind. It really, really interesting. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it is. It was.
And then I was mimicking these, phrases from kabuki show.
Yeah.
And I've been silly for, a week.
Yeah, you have been silly. It's actually really funny and cute. I like it a lot. You should keep doing that.
Yes. And not just only the performance. While this kabuki performance going and we heard music going on.
Yeah.
I thought this was a CD.
Right. You said that.
Yeah. I heard music from the stage and I thought, okay, it's obviously a fake, but it's actually a musician playing music on the stage.
Right. And it wasn't just 2 or 3 people. I think after that act had started, the curtain went up, showed the actors, and then there was a curtain behind the actors that also went up.
Yes.
That showed the musicians. And there were a lot of musicians there. It was like a full troupe of performers.
Right.
It was amazing.
Yeah, they were playing shamisen.
It is shamisen and
drums
and singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Everyone's
really
there.
impressive.
Yeah.
Really impressive.
Yes. And I found some interesting things from the performance. There's a person making some noises with wood clappers. Like a pachi, pachi, pachi.
Yeah,
pachi,
like
pachi.
bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was I researched what was that after the show. And this was actually a proper role.
Yes. It's always included as part of the experience.
Yeah. So I was really impressed by these performance with music and then sound effect.
Yeah.
I thought this is like a movie.
Yeah, it is.
Real time movie.
It is kind of. And I think in the time when the kabuki was created, it was probably supposed to be like that, like real time storytelling, like a movie.
Yes.
So I think for me, I had studied actually not kabuki per se, but when I was in graduate school in America, I studied No and Kyogen theater with a Japanese professor from Tokyo who was actually quite famous in America. He was the only professor teaching about Japanese theater, No theater at the time. We learned a little bit about kabuki. And so I kind of had a little bit of knowledge about it.
Yeah, you explained me before this performance about
a little bit.
Yeah, kabuki.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't know that much, but I know a little bit. But it was the first time for me to see live kabuki too. I thought the costumes were fabulous, of course, but also the stories. The stories were really interesting, and they really gave me a glimpse of what life in the Edo period was like, and what was important, or how did they think, how did they behave. It was very interesting.
Yes. I like the stories a lot.
Yeah.
And there's not much different, like this era of stories and, the Edo period stories.
Actually, that's true. I mean, it's like love stories and kind of one was a love story are actually a story of betrayal. And then one of the main stories was kind of action suspense, I would say. Like running away from thieves,
Right.
trying to find you. It was like, it could have been a Born Identity kind of movie.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty much same.
Yeah. So actually, I was really worried about watching the performance before we went, actually, because I'm not a Japanese speaker native. I had to study Japanese, but I don't know old Japanese. Like, I don't know classical Japanese, and I didn't know the stories. We didn't know what the stories would be, so we couldn't research beforehand to like read the storyline. So I was worried that it would be very hard to understand, but it was okay for two reasons. One was the main actor came on the stage before the performances started, and he kind of explained the stories in easy Japanese, in regular Japanese.
Yes.
So we knew what was going to happen and we could follow along. And then the other thing is they gave everyone these, what is it called? What are those things called?
Audio guidance?
Yeah, like an audio guide. So it's like a little device.
Yes.
And then you have one earphone.
Yes.
And then so while you're watching the performance, if there's something hard to understand, someone tells you, like, at this point, this word means this in regular Japanese. And this is an important point. Please pay attention to this part.
And also they use some unique way to explain something. For example, Yama no kami means inoshishi or a kuma or something, right?
Oh, is that what it meant?
Yes.
I thought it was just like a derogatory way to call his wife.
Oh, yes, but the
But
Yama
it has
no...
another meaning.
Yes.
Oh, so she's like a
Kuma.
bear or like
bears.
a boar, like a wild animal.
Yeah.
Very strong.
Yeah, saying Kuma is direct.
Yeah.
So the main character said Yama no kami,
Oh.
god of a mountain.
So the ruler of the mountain, the god of the mountain, which could be the bear, the wild animal, or whatever.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Oh, that's like a whole nother. It's like 2 levels deep. Yeah.
Yes. Unfortunately, we couldn't get an English audio guide.
That's okay. But I think like if you're at the Kabukiza Theater, the Grand Theater in Tokyo, they do have English there.
Okay.
So for anyone listening, if you want to try it in English, they have the guides in English in Tokyo. Not in Okayama.
No.
I was probably the only foreigner in the theater that day, so they wouldn't bring English only for me.
Oh, they have some there's some foreigners there.
Really?
At the night, yes.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
You forgot about it?
No,
we
I didn't
saw
see anyone.
them. We saw
I didn't
them.
think they were inside, were they?
I thought they were inside.
Oh, I missed that. I thought they were just hanging around outside.
By the way, this kabuki is a Japanese tradition.
Yes.
And I'd like to talk about this family tradition especially.
Okay. I think this is interesting.
Yes. So you mentioned the main person talked about this whole story and then what's going on. Well, he also mentioned there's only 300 kabuki players there.
Yeah, that's for the whole country. And I knew beforehand, there's a couple of families that are very famous for keeping the kabuki tradition alive. And actually, one of the families was the ones that came here. It was the Nakamura family. I know their name. They're very famous in the kabuki world, and also the Ichikawa family. And there's probably some others as well, but like they keep the art within their own family.
Yes, that's a really unique way to preserve this tradition. And I think this is the same as Hokuto no Ken. Do you know?
I don't think so.
Maybe our listeners know what Hokuto no Ken. But anyway, this is called Ichimon Soden.
Okay.
So only the family member inherited, kabuki.
Yeah, actually, I was talking to the ladies who gave me the ticket. The lady who gave me the ticket and her friend, they like kabuki and they go often. They were saying the same thing. Like basically, if you're not born into one of these families, you're never going to be a kabuki actor. pretty much. So you can't even marry, like if they have a daughter and you marry the daughter, you still won't be an actor. You have to be a son born into one of the families if you want to be a kabuki actor. The musicians, you know, they pull musicians from other places, and those musicians are trained at special schools, apparently. They go to special schools to learn that style of music, but for the actors, it's all within the family.
So I'd like to know, how would you express this in English?
Ooh, we don't have a one phrase for this, but I would say pass down to the next generation or pass down in the family. You could also say it's a family legacy.
Oh, that sounds cool.
It does sound cool, actually. Yeah. We don't really do this much in America, but in Europe they do. They have this in Europe.
Yeah, the word kind of reminds me of Gucci families.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the Gucci family started out as leather workers. If you watch the Gucci movie that was out a couple years ago, it kind of shows a bit of this. But they started out making, I think, horse saddles for horses.
Oh, yeah.
And then they moved into making other like horse related accessories like the bags and stuff. And then they moved into making purses and luxury items for people. So their leather working skills were passed down from generation to generation to generation within the same Gucci family.
Nice. Yeah, you have a good memories about Gucci.
It's a good movie. It was a very good movie. No, but also like other things. A lot of people have names with son on the end, like Bakerson, for example. It's the son of the baker. So the town baker, the town bread maker, passes his art down to his son, and his name is Bakerson. Right?
Simple.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the 99 is showing the family legacy, like what the family does, and then passed down to the sons.
Okay.
Yeah. Not as cool as kabuki, though. Kabuki's much cooler than bakers. That's just a bad example.
Okay.
Yeah. So as we just mentioned, kabuki is one of these traditional Japanese art forms that is kind of a hereditary profession. You have to be born into the family, and then that art is taught from the older generation to the next generation, and then that generation will pass it down to the final generation. So actually in the performance we saw, in the final act, the father and the son were performing together.
Yes.
And it was pretty neat. It was pretty cool to see how they worked together.
Yes.
They don't look alike. They don't look anything alike. So it was hard to know. But I assumed that they were in the same family.
Yeah.
And then after the performance, I went and checked Wikipedia, and I found, oh yeah, that's the father and the son. Okay.
So you like these actors?
Apparently the father is really famous. The father and the grandfather are really, really famous. The main performer, the son, is, I think he must be up and coming. He's not really famous yet, but I'm sure he's expected to carry on his family's tradition. But he's gorgeous, by the way. He's a beautiful person. When he puts his makeup on, it's like, wow, he's gorgeous.
Yeah, he's a nice looking man.
He's beautiful.
And after while he was talking before the performance, he looked normal.
Yeah, he looks normal. He just looks like a guy.
Yeah. But he make up and then changed his clothes in 10 minutes or so.
Yeah.
And then he looked completely different person.
Yeah. And I think it wasn't just the makeup and the costume. It was also the way his dance was amazing. I loved his dancing. It was really expressive and really relayed the entire story in that one dance at the end of the performance.
Yes.
And I was watching him, looking at his expression, his makeup, his costume, his dancing. I thought, wow, he's really, really talented.
Yeah.
He's really gifted.
Yeah, and everyone excited after he came out from Hanamichi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that part of, his performance. Just really showed how hard he worked to learn the dance and all the moves, and did it so beautifully.
Yes.
Really loved it.
Must been tough to learn, but
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, it does look nice on the stage.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, would you be interested in watching more kabuki later in the future?
Sure, I like to watch more kabuki shows.
Okay. Would you be interested in going to like the Grand Kabuki Theater in Tokyo someday?
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I want to see a real kabuki theater.
Yeah. So if we ever go to Tokyo to see kabuki, I wonder how many of our fans are in the Kanto area. That would be interesting if we could meet some of our fans someday.
Oh, you mean our fans?
Yeah. Do we have any fans? I don't know. Do we even have any fans? Maybe we don't have any fans.
We don't know yet.
That's presumptuous. I shouldn't presume that we have fans. We're not that famous or anything.
Not like them.
No. But I'm curious. So how about our listeners? I think most Japanese people know something about kabuki.
Yeah.
More than I certainly do. But what, if any, what kind of traditions or skills have been passed down in your families?
Oh, that's a nice question.
Yeah, like there's probably people who have learned some kind of traditional craft from their parents or their grandparents.
Yes, there's a pottery families live in North Okayama.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. They pass down their, skill to generations to generations.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I know sake brewers do also. When I was studying Japanese sake, Nihonshu, we visited several of the breweries, and a lot of them, it's like grandfather and father and son, or father and son working together. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so how about you guys? How about our listeners? What kinds of things have been passed down in your families?
Yes, let us know.
Yeah, very curious to know.
All right, that's all for this episode, but don't forget to catch our next one.
All right, this is CrossTalk signing off, bringing you English your way every week.
Keep listening and keep shining.
Bye.